Hei alle sammen. Velkommen til dette virtuelle roadshowet. Mitt navn Kristin Bøhn, og jeg jobber som ISV-koordinator i Altså Norge. Vi har da hatt flere ulike webinarer gjennom dette virtuelle roadshowet, og er nå kommet til det 8. og siste webinaret, hvor vi da skal se litt nærmere på de nye verdiøkende tjenestene man kan få fra Altså Cloud Marketplace. Så med meg til å presentere så har jeg Mark fra Dropbox, Hugo fra Printix, Christian og Nigel fra Otrum, Scott fra SignNow og Nicola fra TigerBridge. De kommer da til å presentere i 15 minutter hver, så om dere har noen spørsmål underveis, så er det bare å skrive det i chatten, så vi besvarer disse per mail i etterkant av webinaret da. Yes, Mark, are you ready to start?
I am. Thank you so much for the intro. It was hard for me to understand, so I still did get a couple of words. It's actually really interesting that there are a couple of similarities in our languages.
Yeah.
Cool, fantastic. So what I'm going to present today in like roughly 15 minutes is I'm not going to go through PowerPoint decks. I'm not going to go through any feature function things, but what I want to talk about is how the current crisis happens, what it does to people, what are we doing to kind of solve all the remote challenges that we're having today, and what Dropbox can do to support you with that. And starting off, my most important finding from this year so far is that actually the most valuable resource for knowledge workers, the ability to focus, is challenged more than ever. And if factors such as the growing number of notifications or a confusing chaos of tools and content made it difficult for many knowledge workers to work in a focused manner even before Corona, new professional and personal challenges came up under pandemic conditions. Due to the Corona pandemic, the entire economy had to adjust to the sudden and unexpected change in the way they work. When colleagues and families suddenly seem distant across the continent, even if this was already the case in a globalized world, then it can be difficult to stay focused and maintain your personal work-life balance. Dropbox wants to make sure our partners have the right tools and resources to support their customers so they can do their best work and stay focused wherever they are. For information technology, disruptive times means the opportunity to adapt disruptive technologies more quickly. And this is definitely a chance for the channel in particular. Part of the solution to our focus problem is technology. The right infrastructure is needed to meet those new challenges. It was not just since the crisis that Dropbox made it its mission to create a more focused way of working. Our unique workspace, the smart workspace, allows people to organize their work optimally, especially when the work is distributed. The heart of the solution is what we call Dropbox Spaces. This is kind of a digital desk, our first foreground app, in which you can not only upload files and share them with others. In Spaces, you can see all of the content, no matter if it's locally or even if it's in the cloud, on one platform, and share that with colleagues. In addition, there are, of course, our seamless integrations with solutions such as the Google G Suite or Microsoft 365, but also to the Messenger Slack or the video conference tool Zoom. We believe in a best-of-breed approach in which precisely those tools are combined that perform their tasks and have the greatest acceptance among employees. Instead of offering a monolithic solution for every requirement, it is much more important for us to bring together the tools that are used at work. This reduces the dependency on a single provider, and individual components can be exchanged more easily. Our solution can be used in virtually any industry, whether media, trade, construction, or the education sector. Dropbox has been used successfully in all of these industries for years. And our product development, they're also looking at those kinds of vertical solutions, like a BIM integration for construction or the seamless connection to the Adobe Creative Suite for media production. In addition to that, with our over 300,000 APIs, we rely on an open system. And not on the so-called walled garden in which other providers keep their customers. Thanks to the smart workspace, users no longer have to switch back and forth between applications. So if technology cannot automatically solve all of those problems, the question comes up, what kind of work and corporate culture the new work reality requires and how the channel can promote that. The crisis has in many ways held up the mirror to our society, but also to today's companies. First and foremost, Corona made one thing clear to me personally, which I had often talked about in recent years on various stages and in various media. Technology, corporate culture, new ways of working, focus, and efficiency are topics that need to be closely welded together in daily work, and especially when working in global teams. The virus and its quarantine consequences suddenly made it obvious our previous working methods are outdated and stuck in a dead end. If we take an honest look at the way we are currently working, we immediately realize that something has gone wrong. In the last decades, we have neither learned to take good care of our environment nor of our own resources. Haven't we long been heading straight for a collective burnout? Hasn't our work been in a deep mid-work crisis for years? So what do I mean by mid-work crisis? By this, I mean the crisis in which our work or the working methods of modern knowledge workers were already in before the Corona crisis kicked in. To be more precise, it is a matter of several times a day when we were torn from our goal-oriented thoughts by interruptions. And it's about superfluous work elements, for example, unnecessary work around the actual work content. This means searching for files in the filing system, the endless switching back and forth between different tools and applications, but also unnecessary calls and meetings. The problem is the thought of having to do everything immediately. However, something like this can only be transformed organizationally and culturally, and not technically, with a higher level of confidence. If you know that it is okay if you don't answer within 10 seconds, you can communicate at the speed that best supports your work. It is therefore important to learn to use the possibilities of those new tools. For example, to use synchronous, so simultaneous communication, and asynchronous, so time-delayed communication correctly. The focus on people is important, so that employees are not only seen as an increase in efficiency. This has to be exemplified and run through the entire company. This chaos of attention dramatically reduces our productivity, and worse still, it damages our mental and physical health. Everything that distracts us daily from doing what we want and should do on the job leads straight into a drastic mid-work crisis. This is something we have to counteract decisively. So let's start looking for a quick way back to focused work. In recent years and decades, many companies have assumed that all challenges can be solved through technology. But this promise has not really been fulfilled. Technology is not automatically a savior. Instead of adapting it to people at the workplace, since the Industrial Revolution, people have had to orient themselves towards the machines. Even modern knowledge workers have not yet got the hang of it. They too must adapt their working methods to the means at their disposal. Our concentration is broken by constant messages, dozens of open windows, and the constant juggling between tools. Digitization seems to have somehow taken on a life of its own. It's not us who drive the technology. It is technical development that drives us. Like the reticence towards flexible working, the technologies themselves were often subject to restrictive specifications. For a long time, IT departments were told never change a running system. And this often forced them into the role of blockers in the selection of the knowledge workers' individually suitable tools. The reason was the fields of technology and culture have lived on two completely different planets for far too long. Corona suddenly united this contrast. The Corona crisis has been able to build a bridge for this deep gap between technology and culture. Here, the crisis has unleashed disruptive forces because it has suddenly created an openness to new ways of thinking and a high level of interest in the technologies that enable us to work from home at lightning speed and with as little friction as possible. The crisis into which the virus has catapulted us therefore also holds a lot of opportunities. And I am firmly convinced that from now on, more and more companies will try to redefine the balance between control and freedom in the use of tools, and also in the relationship between independent remote work versus at a fixed company workplace. Many employers have now understood that work is not something that can be seen and checked by being present. In many places, there has been a paradigm shift from evaluating working hours to evaluating results. So, goodbye time clock, welcome result. What does it take? First and foremost, trust. Trust is the indispensable cornerstone on which our corporation, your teams, your workflows should always and at all times be based upon. I would now like to give you an insight into how Dropbox works, and above all, how we are facing up to the challenges of these difficult times. And our new motto is virtual first. While the key to success at Dropbox has always been creativity and collaboration, and the Dropbox offices were designed with that in mind. Although we develop solutions that help people work from anywhere, most Dropbox employees came to those offices every day, just like me. As with everyone in the abrupt move to remote work this year was a challenge. Fortunately, Dropbox made the transition almost seamless and was used more than ever before as a home office and remote work solution in many companies. A study commissioned by Dropbox shows that although the switch to remote work was abrupt, it was successful overall. The Economist Intelligence Unit EIU study found that knowledge workers are more focused and just as dedicated at home as before. But let's be honest, not everything is perfect. Uninterrupted video conferencing, constant alerts, and social isolation can lead to excessive demands. In the study with the EIU, workers also noted that the corporate culture suffers from a lack of personal interaction, that the risk of miscommunication is higher, and that it is harder to initiate new projects with several people involved. However, the EIU data also shows that despite these drawbacks, people believe that the benefits of remote working outweigh the disadvantages. This is one of the reasons why Dropbox has decided to become a virtual first company. Remote working will be the basic mode of all employees and the everyday standard for individual work. As soon as it is safe again, Dropbox will allow a rhythm of physical collaboration and team meetings in so-called Dropbox studios, either in the existing properties or other flexible premises. Such studios will be located in all existing office locations, for example, in San Francisco, Seattle, Austin, or Dublin. Elsewhere in the world, there will be on-call facilities for team meetings. Every employee will have access to a studio. To ensure a fair and consistent staff experience, Dropbox believes it is important to determine how these rooms will be used. So Dropbox studios are specifically designed for collaboration and community building, and they cannot be used by staff for individual work. Employees will thus have a new flexibility to move away from current office locations. The choice of personal locations will be considerably greater. As a result, Dropbox is expected to become more geographically dispersed over time, and teams will have more freedom to choose where they live, work, and find new people. In short, Dropbox has therefore designed a new way of working that is both inspiring and facilitates distributed work. Dropbox has set itself 5 goals: to support the mission of the company, to give employees freedom and flexibility, to maintain the connection between people and the company culture, to maintain the health of the company in the long term, and to maintain a learning mindset. But no matter which working model you and your customers prefer, Dropbox can help you to ensure that everyone pulls together in the end. Strategies that have proven themselves under the conditions of a global pandemic, such as the digitization of business processes, flexible access to data in terms of times and location, and the possibility of location-independent work, have come to stay. From a business perspective, the digital workplace has become a model that is relevant to survival. Therefore, the decentralization of work, the exhaustion of existing cloud potentials, and infrastructures for digital business models will keep the channel busy in the future. For Dropbox, trust is the #1 value in the company. This applies to all our customers, partners, and users, and it also applies internally to our teams. This is not something that can be taken for granted. For example, I personally searched for a long time before I found an employer like Dropbox. For years, I've now been fighting for a controlled loss of control in personnel management behind which stands a great supporting philosophy of trust. After all, being on first name terms with everyone or swapping a tie for a motto shirt is by no means enough for truly new work. Only a strong corporate culture is the key to it, and a culture without trust cannot work. Many companies find it so difficult to break away from tight control and establish trust as the basis of their work. But there's one thing I have learned in the course of my career. If you want to have the best talents in your team, you have to anchor trust as a fundamental value in your corporate culture. From the hiring process through flexible working models and more personal responsibility to an open error and feedback culture. During the Corona crisis, many of us, albeit not entirely
Mark?
voluntarily. Yep.
I think we need to wrap it up.
30 more seconds.
Okay,
30 more
that's fine.
seconds. During the Corona crisis, many of us, albeit not entirely voluntarily, took a huge leap of faith and received it ourselves. I think the majority will have proved worthy of it. But I'm sure we have all learned to appreciate the trust placed in us. The takeaway and one of the most important lessons I have learned from the crisis is that the freedom that the crisis gave to all knowledge workers should continue to be granted after this test. The reward is motivated work with excellent results. If you want to know more about Dropbox, our trust philosophy, our smart workspace, or virtual first, please reach out to partners@dropbox.com, and we're super happy to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. So I will hand it over to Hugo. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. One second. Just share my, here we go. And I would like to share my screen. Where do we have it? Oh, show my screen, yep. And screen 2, here we go. Yes, whoop, and let's switch. Good. Can you see my screen? Just a quick check.
Yes.
Perfect. Modern printing. Modern workplace printing by Printix. What is modern printing? Modern printing is, in the context of the cloud, something new we wanted to build. We are all used to Control P, select the printer and print. That's what we have done for the last 30 years. Moving to the cloud, get rid of on-prem hardware, give an opportunity to redefine how we're going to print for the future. I've been working in the print industry for 30 years, and one thing is for sure, we want to simplify. Printing is something people just hate. It just needs to work. Wherever you are, it needs to work. So in Printix, we have tried to redefine how modern printing works in the context of a cloud world. And I'm going to talk about the modern printing, what it is. I'm going to talk about modern management, a little bit about the architecture, and give you just some ideas about what Printix have done to help customers. So modern print in the Printix context is that I, as a user, can print from anything to anything whenever I want. And it doesn't need, and I don't need to think. You know, it's important that if I work from Windows, if I work from Mac or Chromebook, iOS and Android, if I want to print on the color printer down the hall, I can just pick the cue from my device and print to the device and it come out. We have been used to that in different type of formats. It's native built-in in Windows, native built-in in Mac. You have maybe bought additional applications to support mobile printing. With Printix, it's just the package. It gives the end user, you know, in the office a way just to print whenever they want. But to prepare a print environment, it's also important that it is ready wherever I am. Think about a customer that maybe moved from location to location, and I'm going to give an example on that in just a minute. But think about move around between different offices. Whenever you get in the office, if I need to print, I need to have printing available for me immediately. One of the things Printix can do is it can automatically prepare a print environment for the location where I am. Today, I'm working from my home office, and Printix can actually prepare office printing on my good old inkjet printer here at home. When I get back into the office tomorrow, when I step in the door, open my laptop, Printix will know where I am and will immediately prepare my print environment. And I'm part of sales, so I don't want all the 10 printers the guys have in support and development. No, I want the 2 devices we use in sales and marketing. So Printix can both do automatic installation based on location, but we can also pair it based on the group I am member of. And if I, from home today, want to print to the order desk in the office, I can do that too. Print via the cloud is also part of Printix. More and more customers also like to be able to print, to do secure print. Printix have developed 2 different ways of doing secure print. The standard is using a mobile phone to release a print job wherever you are. So a device in the company, whatever brand, whatever model, can be enabled to do secure print. The only thing you need to do is actually mount an NFC tag on each of the devices. This NFC tag will identify the device. The Printix app on my mobile phone will know where I am, and I can release my secure job on that device. This is 100% printer agnostic, so you don't need to worry. It will work on anything. So whatever printers the customer may have today, keep them, just put a tag on, and you have now secure print. Along the side of modern printing is also modern management. And modern management is that the components that need to be distributed, which is what we call a Printix client, some call it an agent. This client needs to be distributed out to every Mac and Windows computer. It's done easily with Microsoft Intune or any other MSI tool. And when the client gets installed, it automatically does single sign-on. So the Printix client already know who that are signed into the device. So the only thing a company needs to do when a new employee arrives is define Hugo in Printix.net. He is member of sales, and you're done. Behind the scene, Intune or MSI tool will make sure the right components get installed on my computer when I sign in the first time. And based on where I am, it will also know what to install. So when everything is installed, my print environment is immediately ready, and I can start print whenever I want. Anything that Printix do or anything a user do can be tracked. We can, if you enable analytics, Printix can create a report about who is printing what, where, and when, as well as we can also track all the individual devices. This data is gathered and are available through a database, and it's viewable via Power BI or any other type of reporting tool. So Printix is built as a true cloud platform. It's running at the Microsoft Azure data center in the Netherlands for covering Europe. It's built on microservices as a multi-tenant platform, automatic scaling and upgrade, 24/7, 365 availability, 99.9% uptime. So partner, you don't need to worry about the infrastructure. Printix will make sure it scales automatically, and if anything happens on the Printix cloud platform, if we exceed certain threshold, we'll have an automatic alarm to our global support center. One of the latest cases we've done is with Otrum. Otrum had a challenge with remote print servers around in more than 150 offices around the world. And Otrum's challenge were they wanted to get a cost saving. They needed to reduce the cost of on-prem hardware. They needed to reduce the administration cost, and Printix helped with that. We rolled out Printix to more than 7,000 employees on 150 locations and removed existing on-prem hardware in less than 2 weeks. It was a smooth transition. Basically, the users didn't notice it. They saw, nothing, no change. And that is actually the most important for many office workers is they hate changes. So if you can have a solution that basically provide the users with a print solution that was exactly the same it were yesterday, except that it is now managed from the cloud for an efficiency point of view. So Otrum had a dramatic reduce in on-prem hardware, a dramatic reduction in administration for the entire environment. So to summary about Printix, so it's a true SaaS product. We have a SaaS business model. We charge on a per active user per month. You can subscribe either monthly or yearly, and yearly business model give an extra discount for the customer. This is typically something we see within education, within government. They like the yearly business model, whereas many private companies are more for the flexible per month subscription model. Printix work actually equally good both for customers that are on-prem as well in a hybrid or in a transition toward a full cloud environment. Printix support multiple authentication methods, so wherever the customer is, you can immediately onboard Printix, start with the cost saving, both for you as well for the customer. And as they migrate to the cloud, then you can just transist them together with Printix. The only thing Printix rely on is actually something to authenticate against, AD, Azure AD, or Google G Suite, or multiple at the same time. You have all the modern management facilities available with Intune, single sign-on, etc. And that means Printix give the office workers of tomorrow access to all the modern printing that have been available in the enterprise space for several years. Now we bring it in available for any type of customer, starting from 1 user and up, and the customer experience a complete flexibility. So low touch is the key. Automation as much as possible is the key for Printix in a true cloud environment. That's up for me. You can reach me online after.
Thank you very much, Hugo. Yes, then it's Nigel and Christian from Otrum's turn. So I will let you share your screen, Nigel.
Super, thank you. There we go. Christian, you're muted, I think. The famous phrase of the year.
It's mute, but yeah, great, excellent. So everybody can hear me now. Hei, mitt navn Christian Elvestad. I dag skal vi snakke om Otrum SignNow. Jeg har jobbet I Otrum nå I 8 år. Jeg ansvarlig for salg gjennom distributører og partnere. Så deg, Nigel?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nigel Bateson. I've been with Otrum quite a while now, 21 years, but I'm also based in Oslo, normally sitting together with Christian, but for obvious reasons, we're not sitting together today.
Riktig. Så I dag skal vi da snakke om disse blå skjermene. Dere har vel kanskje sett slike skjermer enten på sykehus, kjøpesentre, flyplasser, eller andre rapporteringssentre. Disse blå skjermene, de mener vi at vi kan unngå ved å da bruke Otrum Signage. Otrum Signage da innebygget i da skjermenes operativsystem. Vi støtter jo da en rekke type skjermer, blant annet Samsung, LG, Philips og NEC. Samsung så bruker vi jo da deres Tyson-plattform. Vi jo også tilbakekompatibel med tidligere plattformer innenfor Signage. Samme gjelder LG WebOS, så vi også kompatibel. Og vi også selvfølgelig tilbakekompatibel der. Vi jo også kompatibel med Philips Android-plattform, samt da NEC sin Raspberry Pi-løsning. Vi jo også kompatibel med Raspberry Pi 4 og 3, hvis det da skulle være skjermer som ikke Signage-skjermer, eller som da ikke en av disse skjermtypene her, så kan også da en Raspberry Pi benyttes. Da går vi videre over til Otrum Signage som en skybasert tjeneste.
Thank you, Christian. So yes, adding on to the benefits of using system on a chip, smart displays, removing the need for a set-top box, we also bring all of the server-side operations into the cloud. Amazon Web Services was an obvious choice for us when we started working in cloud signage. This was actually about 10 years ago. Until then, we were actually hosting all of the operations in a mirrored data centers in Norway in our own premises. But we saw the benefits for running as a SaaS platform in the cloud very early and moved into Amazon. And since then, we've been very happy with the robustness and the uptime, and also the help we get from AWS to make sure we deploy the best-in-class platforms for our digital signage solutions. So the solution that we have today is focused on ease of use. Now, as Christian said, you're going to see blue screens and black screens all around, probably due to failures with set-top boxes, but also because the users do not publish content and do not update content. And often the problem with digital signage systems is they are too complex for an average user to maintain content. So we have really focused hard on making a very simple, easy to use drag and drop interface so that people feel comfortable about publishing and managing content. And we're going to show you the live system a little bit later in the presentation. The platform itself was originally designed for receptionists in hotels. And the normal receptionist in a hotel is normally a young person, very little training and very little time to go for training. And what we found is this ease of use that we built for hotel staff actually works, of course, in all industries, which we're going to touch upon. As well as being easy to use, we wanted to make a system which was very easy to integrate with external data sources. And here you see an example of some of the external data sources that we use today. This can be everything from the weather or some flight information that we're pulling in from an external API, but it could also be pre-recorded and live YouTube channels. It can be social media feeds, and one very important one for the for office spaces, conference centers, is our interface with Office 365 and with Exchange. And this means that you can bring in meeting room information directly into the signage system without any involvement from staff. So it's a fully autonomous, automated platform. And with the interface with Office 365, it's two-way. That enables you as a user to actually book your meeting room from the signage screen, as well as seeing centrally booked meetings on those signage screens. But one of the big new developments, which we are just bringing to market now, is something called the API connector. So rather than us having to build unique and bespoke APIs for all of these different sources of data, we have created an open solution where anybody can pull in information from any external source. And one of the first pilots that we actually had was with the All Things Talk platform from Also, which is using IoT for bringing in metrics which are being measured in a building, whether it's air quality or occupancy, or is a desk busy or free. Bringing that data in, we used our open API, and within about 2 minutes, we were able to present live information onto the signage displays outside the meeting room. So this open API connector can be used for anything. It could be used for airport info, it could be used for train times, it could be used for news and weather feeds. In this case, we were using it for IoT, but it's just to show you how flexible the platform is for bringing in external data from the internet. Christian?
Ja, så som dere ser, så ja, ofte så omtales vi som egentlig en alt-i-ett-plattform. De fleste løsninger kan utføres gjennom Otrum Signage. Dette gjør at vi tilgjengelige i de fleste segmenter. Et eksempel, vi har her 4 forskjellige eksempler. Vi tilgjengelige innenfor kommunal sektor og innenfor kontorlandskap. Årsaken til det vår ease of use, altså vår enkelhet innenfor å distribuere innhold til flere sider. Også det å spre internkommunikasjon enkelt, og også vår integrasjon vi har med Outlook, som gjør det mulig å også booke møterom, og også være integrert med møteromspaneler. Vi jo også i en rekke arenaer, konsertarenaer, sportsarenaer, og det som særlig relevant der, å kunne distribuere live-innhold enkelt og greit. Med Otrum Signage så kan vi kjøre multicast-løsninger, altså IP-TV-strømninger, som vi skal vise litt senere også, der du kan for eksempel koble på eksterne kameraer, hvor man da ønsker å vise live-innhold fra sportssendinger, eller direktesendt konserter, kan da sendes ut på skjermene. Samtidig som man merger dette med menyinnhold, bilder, videoer, eller at man kan dra inn flere elementer samtidig, for eksempel gjennom andre API-er. Og så det innenfor retail. Retail har vi flere eksempler på, men det som gjengangeren der muligheten til å kunne ha alt samlet på en plattform. Vi har jo da for eksempel en løsning der hvor en markedsfører eller en grafisk designer sitter da på et sted og da distribuerer alt innhold til alle avdelingene på kryss og tvers av landegrenser og på kryss og tvers av kontorer, hvor hun da har tilgang til alle skjermene som hun da kan se. Så vi enkel i bruk, vi kan brukes på en rekke forskjellige segmenter, og vi har også muligheten til å koble på mye annet tredjepartsinformasjon gjennom API-konnektoren vår. Da kan vi gå videre. Vi selvfølgelig tilgjengelige på Also Cloud Marketplace. Det der dere kan få lisensene våre. Vi har en pay-as-you-go-modell, så du betaler per måned. I tillegg så har du også da 10 dager gratis, sånn at du kan faktisk da kjøpe lisensene fra Also, og etter 10 dager så kan du da også reaktivere de, noe som da minimerer risken da eventuelt en sluttkunde tar, hvis man ønsker å bruke dette her. Vi kan selvfølgelig også være med ut til sluttkunder, eller i dag i denne koronaperioden så vil det da være gjennom Teams, så vi selvfølgelig med på training, på webinarer, og vi gjør veldig mye kunderelaterte løsninger gjennom Teams.
Okay, so any support that you might need, installation information, compatible screens, installation files, everything sits at otrumsignage.com. So we have a very easy access point for end users to get the information they need to get up and running. We do not have any instruction manuals for this platform at all. In fact, we have a handful of video tutorials to guide the user through the different things they can do in the platform. And to be honest, after about the first 5 videos, which I think is about 10 minutes, you're set. The platform is very easy to use, very intuitive, and we will now spend a couple of minutes just to show you the platform live so that you see just how easy it is to use. Okay, so I'm going to close PowerPoint, and you can see the signage system on my desktop, and behind Christian you can see a screen. So the screen that you can see behind Christian is this one here. So I'm logged into the CMS. I'm using a desktop CMS. We also have a mobile CMS. These are both just web pages. They're not applications that you need to download. So if you point a mobile phone at this URL, you'll get the mobile CMS. If you put your desktop browser, then you get the desktop CMS. So I can see the screen where Christian is, and if I was from the technical team, I could interrogate that screen to find out what's going on, and I can see the information here. So I can see that Christian has a Raspberry Pi 4, which is plugged into the display. I can see that it's connected on the wireless network. I can also see how much storage, rotation, resolution, etc. And I can see that it's very stable. It's been online all the time, except for the daily reboot that we push all of our players through so that they start the day fresh. So let me show you just how easy it is to upload some content. So for my little example here, on my desktop, I have an image. And this is an image which I downloaded from the internet, but you can imagine in the marketing team who have come with this artwork, or a customer has come with some artwork and says, I want this artwork on that screen. So all I do is take the artwork and I drag it into the cloud, and you'll see it's then uploaded into Amazon, and it's uploaded into our redundant cloud environment, and it's there available now for all users. And it's not got the easiest name, so let me open the file. I can preview it, I can see the resolution, I could rename that file, so it's easier to find later. And then if I want to schedule that file to that image to appear on the screen, I just open the screen and I can see the daily plan. So if I would like to push this live from 24 hours a day, I do it just by dragging it into the calendar, save it and publish it, and then you should see behind Christian the image should appear. And is it there, Christian? I see it, yes. So you can see it appear. It's the same if I want to run multiple images. I have a few images here which I've uploaded earlier, so I can just drag them in to have a slideshow, and I can alter the timing of that slideshow. So I have 5 seconds per slide, and again I hit save and publish, and what will happen is all of this artwork will be loaded to the signage screen. Once it's stored, it will start playing, and then you should be able to see that content running behind Christian as well. Okay, if I want to run video, it's just the same. I just take a video. Here I've got some videos I've already uploaded into the cloud. You can also upload your own videos with drag and drop. And when you want to publish the video, you just drag it into the timeline, save it, and publish it. And what you'll see is it will take a few seconds because it's quite a large file. It needs to download first to the memory of the Raspberry Pi, and you can see now it's playing behind Christian. So this is fine if I want to upload really simple stuff like images and videos, but typically in a digital signage environment, you want to have something a bit more exciting. So let me just show you a couple of things that we could do here. First of all, if I want to show a live TV channel, I can actually tell the unit to go and pick up live streams from the network, whether it's coming from a satellite feed or from an internet feed. And you'll see behind Christian is just buffering, and once it's finished buffering, the content will start playing. So there you are, running a live TV in the signage environment. And 2 or 3 other examples very quickly. We have a nice example here, which is our meeting room displays. So this is perfect in those cases where you have lots of meeting rooms and you want to guide people to the meeting room. So we bring up the name of the meeting and how to find your way to the meeting. We could bring up live news and weather. Here I've got an example with news. So you can see behind Christian, it's got today's headlines. And last but not least, let's bring in some information from the internet. So here I'm bringing in the live train times, departures for Oslo. So you can see them running behind Christian. And to save me running out to look at the screen, I can actually open a preview and see it on my browser as well, if I wished. Okay, so not wanting to overrun, we'll stop there, but I hope I gave you a quick overview of just how simple this platform is and how easy it is for anybody to use.
Thank you, Nigel and Christian. So, Scott, then I'll guess it's your turn with the SignNow, so I will give you the permission to share your screen. So you should be able to share it now.
Very good. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So you see SignNow, we're on the first slide?
No, I can only see your background.
Okay, that's not good. Let me figure out how to bring that over. Sorry about that. Let me, having a little screen share based on multiple screens. Let's see if I can fix that real quickly.
There it is. Perfect.
Sorry about that. Perfect. Okay. Let me just get it into presentation mode.
Yep.
And I will make sure we keep within our time frame here. All right. Do a present, and then I'll be ready. Let that pull up. And again, I'm Scott Owen. I'm actually calling you from Colorado in the US, and I'm going to talk to you about SignNow, our electronic signature offering. So all good. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So first and foremost, right now, electronic signature is the #2 work from home, office from home solution on the entire planet. You can see telemedicine being #1, and web conferencing, which we've all heard much of, is #3, but electronic signature is now the #2 work from home, office from home solution on the planet. Second is to note, let's see, make sure, there we go. The electronic signature market is huge, $25 billion total addressable market, of which only about 7% of it has been addressed. So there's 93% still upside opportunity in the electronic market space. So not only is it the #2 work from home, office from home solution on the planet, it also has a significant addressable market that is still available. So who is SignNow? We're a legally binding electronic signature solution. We're really growing to be the #2 electronic signature offering on the planet. I'll go through a little bit of the key features, but for now, we're about 10 years old, close to 70,000 customers worldwide, and over 6 million users are using SignNow on a global basis. Here's an example of some of those logos. Again, my takeaway for you is that SignNow is applicable for all size of markets, all customer sizes, whether it's SMB, mid-market, enterprise, and all vertical markets as well. So all size of customers, all vertical markets, we're a very horizontal play. So some key benefits of SignNow, you can see we simplify complex workflows. If I was to show you a demo, we'd be showing you similar features and functionality here. We increase team productivity in a very significant way. You can use SignNow to quickly fill out and sign documents. and approve documents on any device in seconds. One cool thing about our platform is that your customers can brand the platform, so they can have that same look and feel, etc., to utilize the platform. And we are all about being work uninterruptible. You can start and edit documents. You can create the workflow. If you're offline, once you're back online, it fulfills the rest of the process. So again, those are some quick snapshots of what the product sort of looks like if I was to show you a demonstration. Key thing to note about SignNow is we are out of the box integrated with many solutions, including Salesforce, the entire Microsoft suite, whether that's Office 365, Dynamics, Teams, Power Automate, G Suite as well. And you can see a few of the others, but we have well over 100 other out-of-the-box integrations. So think of SignNow as the electronic signature offering that is out of the box integrated to your customers' current solutions today. I won't really drain this slide, but I'll just highlight three areas. So on the left side, these are typical customer challenges who aren't using any electronic signature offering. And on the right side, how SignNow can fulfill those challenges. So we obviously excess spending on paper and labor resources. If you've ever experienced having to track down a document that you've sent out, either fax or otherwise, and have to chase that down, it's very labor intensive. And so obviously we can digitize that entire process. Efficient and slow document processing routines, we speed up that document turnaround time by a significant amount, which I'll share here in a few minutes. And then the ability to promote consistent signing experience while in person or remote. And again, in this COVID environment, again, SignNow in electronic signature is the #2 work from home, office from home solution, because everything can be done remotely. So just a great example of some left side on customer challenges, and the right side, how SignNow fulfills those challenges. And as I said earlier in the presentation, we are a great line of business offering. So any line of business owner is really a key target for our solution, whether that's a head of sales, head of HR, head of sales, procurement, legal, you name it. And again, any size company, any size is really a target for us, all industries. And again, we talked about those out of the box integrations. Oops, sorry, went too fast. So this is a key slide. What's in it for customers that are utilizing SignNow? Significant increase of productivity. 80% of documents are completed in a single day. The customer experience increases, and we've seen an average of 127% increase in customer satisfaction scores with the use of SignNow. We talked about productivity. The savings of time is huge, 25 times faster turnaround on all document workflows. And maybe more of the most significant ones is a 7 times return on investment in the first year. So you bring these productivity and metrics to customers and state that if you were to use SignNow, these are the benefits and results they would get. Very, very significant. So I'll give you a quick, 2 quick success stories. One is in HR. HR is a perfect solution for SignNow. You think of the onboarding and offboarding experiences companies around the globe have experienced with COVID. This is why SignNow is perfect for HR. But here in Los Angeles, California, a very large HR group, 112,000 employees. So this is obviously a big enterprise example, but they have about 10,000 employees that they onboard and offboard every year. So think of a company that's 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, or in this case, a department that's 112,000 employees. This example works well for all sizes of companies. Before, they were in a complete paper-based process. The onboarding of new employees was completely paper-based. They had to go scan documents, fax them, send them out through email, chase down signatures, et cetera, et cetera. They utilized SignNow and completely digitized that entire onboarding of employees. Where before it took months to onboard an employee, it now is less than a week time period to onboard an employee. Another good success story, this is a COVID example of here in the state of Nevada, where when COVID first came out, they were needing to send out forms to self-quarantine their employees and people coming into the state. And obviously they could not go out and do this physically. They had to adopt an electronic signature and digitized process. We set them up in just a few minutes, and that process became completely digitized, where they were able to do that completely remotely, completely in a safe environment. HIPAA requirements were fulfilled, etc. as well. So 2 great success stories of how to use SignNow. Now, I came from DocuSign. I ran their global channel. And so one of the things you'll run into is DocuSign. It's one of the larger electronic signature providers. And I just thought I'd spend a minute just sharing the differences between SignNow and DocuSign. So one of the things that customers experience with DocuSign is they have a very small limit of the number of sends per user per year. You can see on this right side that DocuSign, their reasonable use is 100 sends per user per year. SignNow allows 1,000 sends for our business premium offering and 3,000 sends for our enterprise offering. So 10 to 30 times more usage of the product than DocuSign. The other thing is we count a transaction when it's fully completed. When it's sent out, all signatures are applied and it's round tripped back into where it needs to be stored. We call that a completed transaction. DocuSign counts their completions or counts their transactions when they're initiated. And there's about 17% of transactions that are initiated that are never completed. So again, DocuSign counts that against you, if you will, when it's not completed. We only count a transaction when it's completed. And I think significant to note is we're about 25% less cost than DocuSign, and we are extremely channel friendly. We are channel first within SignNow. So the end of the day is we provide 10 to 30 times more usage of the product for 25% less cost. An example of some of that costing is in this second to the last slide, just some quick examples of why we're 25% less cost. We have an awesome UI, so customer has a great experience using the product. We talked about all those integrations out of the box and that we're flexible in our usage out there. So lastly, available resources. We do have a partner center where all of our content, collateral, sales materials, marketing materials, campaign materials are in there for you. And then you can always contact us at partners@airslate.com. Airslate's the parent company of SignNow. So that's it from me. Thank you for your time and attention. Again, think of SignNow as electronic signature. Absolutely useful for all sizes of companies, all industries, and again, the #2 work from home, office from home solution on the planet. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So then it's your time, Nicola.
Yep. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. I'm just waiting for sharing screen. Okay. Right, you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nikola Postulov. I'm managing the business development within Tiger Technology. I have 15 minutes. I'm starting my clock, so I'll try to be quick and short. So here it is. The company exists from at least 15 years. We specialize in storage solutions for the most demanding infrastructures back then, which was media and entertainment. and we have significant amount of experience on-prem with storage area networks, with workflows around the most demanding workflows worldwide. 5 years ago, we understood that actually storage is part of every workflow in the world, and cloud became a major part of it. So that's the reason why we started our journey towards the IT field, not only media and entertainment, where we have really famous TV station post-productions to use and so on. Nowadays, we are working in the cloud digital lift and shift with the logos that you see on the screen, you know, small, medium, and large, doesn't matter, private or public entities around the globe. The company is headquartered in Europe, Bulgaria, but it is also, we also have offices around the globe, including one in the US. The opportunity is clear. Market goes towards infrastructure as a service platform or storage as a, or service or SAS platforms. So the market trends are big. Somewhere around 2025, it forecasts around 800 billion as a potential market, and everyone is going there right now. Here is what Gartner says about customers that are sitting on-prem and their concerns why they are reluctant to go fully in the cloud or in a hybrid. The first and foremost reason is the proprietary format that the gateways or the people that will bring them there have right now. So customers are really careful not to give their data under proprietary formats or platforms. Second reason naturally is the cost. So they are comparing on-prem situation with their what if scenario in the cloud. The third thing is they have significant amount of workflows and legacy applications that are not easy to be lift and shifted into the cloud. The fourth reason is the security. Majority, if we just take the file servers, the enterprise file servers, majority of them have security on-prem that exists that they would like to keep when they are using the cloud. And the last reason are the technical departments that essentially are the decision makers behind every single deal. And these people are against any complexity, overhead, against any need for additional training. So your product needs to be really simple, non-disruptive, and so on. And that's the reason why I'm telling you the story, because our product called TigerBridge is exactly that. It's a software-only solution that can be installed on any existing infrastructure, and it can bind it together. And I'm talking about enterprise-grade data, right? To all my respect to all the solutions that exist right now, majority of them, they tend to change that, or they are impossible to be installed on a file server. So today I'm going to talk about enterprise-grade solution. So this solution can be, TigerBridge can be installed on existing file servers, and it can turn those platforms and that data into a collaborative platform without the vendor lock, which means the data remains the way it is, the Windows feel and look remains, and I will show you that quickly if I have the time. There is no proprietary anything there. Folders and files remain folders and files in the cloud. Windows feel and look remains that. There is nothing that will raise a suspicion or a GDPR compliancy risks or ticks. So moving forward, the verticals that we work on are basically any, doesn't matter. We work with any vertical, but we have specially great use cases for engineering, construction, oil and gas, media, small file servers of SMB customers, finance sector, education, public sector, and so on. Actually, doesn't really matter what the size of the customer is. The file storage is the largest deployment base of external storage worldwide. That means every customer of that is the potential dollar sign. You can attach a potential dollar sign to it. The use cases are a lot, anything that you can do with infrastructure, but I'm going to talk about three major ones. So just the first three. You can protect the data against ransomware, against any disaster, much better and faster RPO and RTO. The second use case is when your file server gets full, there is not really an easy way for you to solve the problem. And the third one is a collaboration, which means file locking enabled synchronous platform that it combines your existing infrastructure and Azure without any proprietary format. The rest you can see use cases examples on a nice videos that we have on also platform, which I encourage you to do after the call. One really significant question that a customer with a lots of data has is how much data am I actually using on a daily basis? The software can answer those questions as well, since we have analytics that shows the actual usage of every server in his infrastructure. Now, what are the partner benefits? You can open the door to any customer because the problems that we solve are really, I would say, equally important in every single instance. It is the easiest first step to the cloud because we don't change anything. We do liberate the data, which means that if the customer starts to use TigerBridge and his file server and Azure or anything else, data remains in its native format. And even if they stop using the platform, the data will remain for years and years in its folders and file structure. And of course, the third one is cost reduction. Majority of the customers that have already been into the cloud coming to us reduce between 70–80% of the cloud cost. Now, before I go there, I have like 7 minutes. I just want to show you something quick. Do you see? Yeah, I hope you see my screen. Yes. So I'm running TigerBridge on my notebook instance, and I have existing data on my C drive, and I've set it up to this data to be paired with Azure. In my case, I continue to work as before. There is no change on my data. As you can see, all these files and folders remains to be folders and files under NTFS with its Active Directory permissions, and everything remains the way I was doing it yesterday. Now, because of the settings I have right now, I have enabled version control using Azure. And in this case, I have in this particular file 2 versions because I've changed it and I would like to keep the previous version. The same happens on a volume level where I can just right click, go to properties, go to versions, and just imagine that yesterday your system was struck by not coronavirus, but encryption virus. And I can rotate that particular file system or folder to a previous state by simply clicking on this button. Right, so what I'm gonna see under Windows UI is that I have one different file. In the case of, more disastrous event, I will have much more files, but I can restore them as quickly as pressing restore time tab. Then I can select a number of files or just few of them, and I can restore them immediately to my on-prem system. Now, this is just one of the ways we can protect the data against ransomware. More examples you can see on the videos that we have published in the also platform. Unfortunately, it's too short of a time to show you all that. We do have partial restore capabilities. So when you're working with large files like videos, like zip files, like media files, whatever, and you would like to remove them from on-prem, for instance, let me give you an example. The blue files here, similar to other platforms, are not presented locally because I have selected based on my preferences, files that I'm not accessing for more than 2 years, not to be kept on my file server. And this is the second use case where I would like to free up to 80% of my file server usage, notebook usage, whatever usage. And in this case, as you can see, the file is not even local. The moment I double click, the file becomes local by downloading the data from its target. Now the data is local and I can start immediately working with it. Now, partial restore means, and I'm not going to be able to show you that right now because it takes time, but if I have a movie that is 100 GB big, the software will just download the data that is part of the time I would like to play, similar to YouTube. Like if I scroll the timeline, that data will be populated, and that actually applies to any application because we are below the file system and we can intercept the calls. I'm getting a little bit technical, but basically we know what the application requires from the file system and the operating system, and we can provide this kind of advanced functionality since we are internal to the file system. Now, the third and last thing I want to show you is a type of a collaboration thing that we have built in, and it's not a type, it's exactly that. I have a folder that I'm extending through my TigerBridge. In my office, actually, I would like to show you that part. I have to start my UI configurator. I have set up that particular folder in our office to talk to Azure specific bucket. And I can mount that data from my computer right now. I can see all the folders and files that all my colleagues have access to. I'm accessing this data through HTTPS, which means I'm not logging in through VPNs. I'm keeping just parts of the data. As you can see, only 14 gigabytes out of 75. All the files and folders are here, but I'm accessing only the ones that I need. Anything that I'm changing here is reflected to all the people that are accessing the data. And it's, you know, you can have file locking, you can have partial restoration, you can have partial streaming of the data. So many features that allows a collaborative environment. And I will just remind you that this platform, well, it's not a platform because you're using Windows, but this approach, making a single namespace, can connect my notebook, my file server, my virtual machine all together. So it doesn't matter if it's a virtual, physical machine, it can connect all of them under a single namespace. And then people continue to work as before, which, as Mark mentioned during the beginning of this conversation, Corona have changed a lot of businesses and a lot of workflows are now lifted and shifted to the cloud. And I would just like to point one important thing from his speech, which I'm grateful to listen, is that more and more customers are right now cost sensitive, which means that even if they were adopting a great solution in the past or they were driving a Ferrari, they most probably would like to change that in upcoming years because their business dropped with more than 60%. And they are looking for better performance and lower costs, which exactly is what TigerBridge delivers. The platform or the solution that we offer is zero vendor locked. It is provided on a SaaS approach, so pay as you grow on the platform of also. It starts somewhere from $6 terabyte a month, actually the euro equivalent of $6 terabyte a month, which is one of the lowest on the market right now. And it does not include the cloud part of it. So you can take that to any on-premise of the clients. You can open up any door. You can solve all their precious data and use cases that I was showing you right there. And yeah, I mean, I would appreciate if you have questions, but again, a reminder that all the information that you can see in a nice short videos is available on the also platform. I'm encouraging you to go there and check. After the event, we will send that onto an email as far as I understood. So thank you very much for the attention. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Så da er vi vel egentlig ferdig. Så jeg tenkte jeg bare skulle si at hvis dere har noen spørsmål, så er det bare å sende meg en melding. Dere har mailadressen min. Skal ha fått en mailadresse av meg eller mail i går. Så bare å rope ut hvis det er et eller annet, så kommer jeg også sende ut en mail i etterkant. Ok, ha det bra. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks again.